Look at the fire rate on this gun. 727 on a shotgun. Oh my. Hello everyone and welcome to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a game called Gunfire Reborn. If you guys haven't played this game before, it's actually a lot of fun. I really like it, I really enjoy it. I tend to be more of an indie gamer these days. I just tend to like those games more. Anyway, we're going to be playing the bunny today. I believe her name is Tao. And we're going to be doing a Blossom build. Fatal Bloom Blossom build. So I'm going to start. I'm going to put it on the hardest difficulty possible. And we are playing at 4-player difficulty as well, so the game is going to spawn more ads, things like that. I'm going to pick up Skill Freak from the start. Reincarnation 8. Let's get started. I'm going to show you guys what I like to do on her. There's all kinds of builds that work that are very good, but you definitely can do a nasty Fatal Bloom build on her. So the one you're looking for is the Blossom Enthusiast. Essentially, when you shoot an enemy with your gun, it will mark them with Fatal Bloom, and it reduces how many hits you need to proc Fatal Bloom by 6. So it reduces it by 6. Used to be 8. Used to be really, really strong. It's still really good, though. So that's the one we're going to take. Now, what's nice about Fatal Bloom is you want weapons that have high fire rate or shotguns, because the projectile count, for example, in this Porcupine, is 21. So this is going to be the clear winner in this beginning setup here. I kind of just got lucky. But essentially, you just want to proc Fatal Bloom as much as you can. And with shotguns, it'll proc it multiple times based on how many projectiles you hit them with. As I go along, I'll talk about which scrolls I'm taking and why I'm doing it. You don't even really have to aim for the head. Grab that. Even guns like this that have a high fire rate, and that can swap and use abilities to proc like multiple projectiles, which this gun can do. You can shoot 2 instead of 1. It isn't bad for Fatal Bloom either. I'm just going to display that out here a little bit. I shot that barrel because I'm crazy. I don't know why. I usually try to shoot them before the enemies use them against me, typically. As you can see, that Fatal Bloom is doing about 1,200 damage or so. This is insanely good. Yeah, this is fantastic with shotguns. I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't have asked for a better skull this early on. This is a little crazy that I got that. Yeah, it's gonna make this very strong. Silly, silly strong. Well, ask and you shall receive, apparently. Curse Mark is really good here. Basically, anytime there's a Fatal Bloom on an enemy, reduces their movement speed by 30 and their damage they deal by 30%. Damage reduction in Reincarnation is very important on the harder difficulties because things hit really hard, so it's definitely good to get that. So anything that I put Fatal Bloom on now is going to get reduced movement speed and damage, which is fantastic. Just going to do this vault real quick. This game is multiplayer, by the way. You can play with other people. It's just that I'm a professional loser with, like, no friend. No, I'm just kidding. Typically, I do play solo, though. It does add a different element of difficulty when you're playing solo. Because in multiplayer, if you go down, you know, somebody can revive you. In single player, it's a lot more difficult. Alright, this is going super well. I honestly doubt I will not finish this run. I mean, something would have to go like horribly bad for it to be the case. I'm going to take the Evil Banishing Talisman. Makes you immune to curse scrolls, which is really nice, but it also stacks up towards your spiritual buff called the Wicked Power or the Scroll buff or whatever it's called. What is that called again? Spiritual Links. Yeah, it was something they added not too long ago. Spiritual Link essentially is like completing set items if you've ever played any RPGs, which, if you're watching my channel, I would assume that you have. But these roguelike games are a lot of fun. This is probably my favorite one that I've played. Raven's Watch is pretty good too. I'm really enjoying that one. They have an update coming out for that one, which I'll be making some videos on that as well. Alright, so we're doing okay here. Obviously, when you're playing this game, it is good to target priority things that might be a little more of an issue for you. So anything that can like run up on you, rush you, like with melee and stuff. Sometimes you want to take them out first, but there are range mobs that you don't want to ignore too sometimes, so you gotta pay attention to that. So, honestly, Warlike Blade is pretty decent, but it works better with high fire rate weapons. And this one isn't bad either. For every Flying Sword 7 increases weapon and skill damage. The only downside of this is it relies on another Ascension as well to be better, in my opinion. And this one isn't bad either. I think we go Warlike though. So there are some interesting things that Tao can do. One of the things that she does is whenever you kill an enemy, you automatically start regenerating shields. And you get movement speed increase as well. This is really good because she regenerates shields when she kills enemies. Speak of the devil. On the house isn't bad. It's going to make your first purchase from the peddler free of charge. Yeah, I'll take what we got here. Yes, she gets movement speed and shield regeneration every time you kill an enemy. This is insanely... What is happening? What is happening right now? We're definitely going to take Enhanced Sucker Punch. For every 1% total HP of an enemy, you get 0.7 skill damage dealt to it. Yeah. And total HP does include, I believe, shield and health, or armor and health as well. It totals up both. And I am going to take the Corrosive Glove here, because that thing is pretty fun. I like taking Corrosion early on in a run if you're playing solo, because there are some bosses that are kind of hard to deal with that will rush you. So ideally you want to have some corrosive stuff to slow them down. Now this gun does scale well with Warlike Blade. Very well. And this gun actually does do an AoE proc if you can get the mechanic down on the gun. You can right click at the right time in that little box in the middle. So this is also a viable option too if you want to run a build like this instead of using a shotgun. Most likely going to stick with a shotgun, but this one's a lot of fun to play with, honestly. Let's see. This... I mean, this isn't bad. It'll give me more elemental damage, which I don't really need. You don't really care about primary skill cooldown. I guess elemental bestowments are going to be our best option here. Elemental weave isn't bad, but it does give you conversion, which can be good. But I do like that this restores HP and ammo. So this gun has extremely fast fire rate, as is. As you can see, we're getting 1,455 rounds per second, and then with the... Interesting, it actually has a chance to shoot another projectile as well. Anyway, with the... Even the Thundercloud gloves can be really decent with the setup. But with the Warlike Blade, I get more... basically more attack speed or fire rate as well, which is really nice. It'll stack up to 3 stacks. You can see at the bottom left there's 1 right now. There's 2. Now we're at 3. And when you're at 3, it's at, yeah, 1455. And when they fade, it goes down to 1160. So you can see that Warlike Blade is pretty darn powerful. This is pretty good. That one's not bad. It can combo something. So I already have some damage reduction, so I'm going to go ahead and go Mark Chaser. Each time Fatal Bloom marks an unmarked enemy, increases weapon damage and skill damage by 10% for 8 seconds, up to 40%. So that's going to be all the time. It's just an overall damage increase for your weapon damage and skill damage. Skill damage is going to be your Fatal Bloom. More power. So yeah, weapon damage is obviously going to be your weapon. Skill damage is going to be your skills, like your E and your Q. I think that's the default buttons for those. Or keys. So if you're doing a Fatal Bloom build, you do want to focus on skill damage. That's really important for this setup. So we can go ahead and take a Curse Scroll here, which I'm going to do, and get a Legendary Scroll. Because we are immune to Curse Scrolls. Stone Skin's good. Damage reduction is never a bad thing in harder difficulties. Absolutely good. Go ahead and do this vault. Like I said, there's not much that's going to be giving us a hard time at this point. realistically, I probably should go shotgun and just blow this thing up. Let's do that. This is a new, like, puzzle type thing they added, which I'm not entirely sure how this thing actually works yet. I just kill these and hope that you kill the right one, because they just go all over the place. Yeah, I guess that was the right one. Wow, this is really good. Alright, so this is going to go towards our Wicked Power as well, so we got 2 or 3 of that. Once you unlock the Wicked Power, you get 60% more weapon and skill damage, but on top of that, for every curse scroll I own, which is 1 right now, I get 15% weapon damage and 20% skill damage. Not a bad one, just go and take it. Yeah, so that's really strong. Honestly, this is a very strong start. I've gotten very lucky, to say the least, so far. Once I unlock the armor breaker, it's going to be really crazy with the shotgun. So, like, these guys back here, realistically, I should go for those first. I'm pretty strong at this point, so I'm not too worried. But you do have to be careful in this game. You still can get downed if you're just being reckless. You don't want to be 100% reckless. Another shotgun here, the Wild Hunt. Not my favorite shotgun. I actually like Porcupine quite a bit. Let's go check up top. Didn't mean to do that. Not that it matters. That's her other ability, by the way. Her E, it'll throw out like a barrage of swords. You can make builds around that one as well. They can be pretty good as well. If you pull out your default pistol, which I just did, you actually get a little bit more movement speed as well, so keep that in mind if you need to traverse around a bit. Alright, so when dealing weapon damage to enemy, there's too much chance of a flying sword. That's okay, but I think I'm going to go more Curse Mark. Don't need any of that. Devil's Covenant. We can take that, that's great, because our HP is 1 anyway, so that doesn't affect us. Our shield is going to be all over our health. So go ahead and grab that. This is good too, because I'm going to get 2 scrolls out of it, and even if I do get a curse scroll, you know, I'm immune to him, so it's fine. And overall, I think we're good. Pupil's also a decent shotgun if you want to run the Fatal Bloom setup, and that's fine. Like, honestly, with Tau, you don't really even have to level up your weapons or anything. You could do an entire run with like a level 1 gun. I've done it before with Fatal Bloom. It is pretty silly, Fatal Bloom. Throw swords at him for the extra damage, why not? I'm gonna pull out the glove for this part. Get a little bit of a spread going on, AoE. Very nice. Got a new one, let's take it. Yeah, why not? Don't really care about crits, but we'll go and grab it anyway. This one isn't terrible. This one is also not terrible. For every stack of Blade Heart you own, it's base default 6, but you can increase it to, I believe, 8. I had one of those Ascensions earlier. But anyway, for every stack of your Blade Heart, you just get 8% more weapon and skill damage per stack. So it's just a solid damage increase for a 1-pointer. So it isn't bad. I might take this, honestly. And the reason why I'm saying that is because anytime I get a 1-pointer, and it's pretty decent early on, in the loophole, if you take it and get rid of it now, you won't re-roll it several times throughout your run. So this is another thing they added. You can choose these scrolls in the beginning of the desert level, but usually the effects that you get from the scroll that are positive, it gives, well, it always does actually. The enemies always get some kind of benefit as well. So you don't have to take them, you can just hit escape. But for example, like if you wanted to get Reinforced Eggshell, it gives you 30% damage reduction as long as your shield isn't 0, which would be great for me because that's like my entire health bar. The enemies also get minus 30% damage taken when their shield or armor is not 0. But they take 30% damage taken when their shield and armor is 0. So this actually is good for me. I'm going to go ahead and grab the... Ooh. Spirit Bible. You know, I really kind of want this, but it does state that they also take 40% reduced skill damage taken. So you get 120, but they get reduced 40. So it kind of nerfs it a little bit. Essentially what I typically do, though, is I'll grab any and all curse scrolls I can, typically. And especially since I'm immune to them. It only negatively affects the enemy pretty much, and not me, and I still get weapon and skill damage from it. So we're going to go that route. So let's see what we get here. Fake death, Eye of Providence, counter violence. Crit, weapon damage, yeah, so obviously counter violence is going to be pretty good. Fake death is good if you're running solo, if you're afraid of dying. I don't think that's going to happen with me, so... I don't really need counter violence either, to be honest. It just gives you more crit, and your weapons have a 50% chance to crit when they hit an enemy, period. So that's more damage, obviously. This is more defensive and safe, but yeah, I'll just go counter violence. I don't absolutely need it, but it is more damage for us, so let's do it. Because if you remember, we are scaling up our weapon and skill damage. So you can do like a hybrid build on her, which is really nice. Right? Yeah, there it is. These bandit dudes are pretty annoying, so you want to keep your distance and try to nuke them down from a distance. If they get up on you, they will flamethrower you into oblivion and hell. So when it comes to upgrading weapons, the weapon has to either be item level 5 before you can etch a Gemini on it, or it has to have 4 stats. So by the time you kill a boss on the first level, which I just did, he will drop items that have 4 stats. So if I did etch this item, it would put a Gemini on it. And you could start working towards a Gemini if you wanted to. Typically, it's not worth doing. It just really depends on what you have and how the run's going. But I just wanted to share that information with you guys as well. Nice thing about this corrosive glove is when they released it, it auto tracks, like locks onto enemies, which is kind of crazy. We'll go and grab this. 5% move speed for every 10% total HP you currently have. That does count for armor and shield as well. But yeah, they made this glove not too long ago, probably like, I don't know, a couple months back. They released this glove, and it's pretty wild that it just auto locks on enemies. I believe they're working on a... Let me get away from that guy. Luckily for me, shield is pretty resilient to fire. So, I'm not too worried about it. Okay, let's do this vault real quick. Yeah, shield is naturally resilient to fire, and then armor is naturally resilient to a lot of damage types in the game, but it's obviously weak against corrosive arrest. Pretty standard for most games that use that system. Search for scrolls. I don't mind doing this a couple times, see what we can get. Enduring caster, we'll take it. 1% skill damage for every 5 total max HP you currently have. Again, it works for shields and armor as well. Didn't need to do that, but, you know, I did. I like taking balls to the face, you know. Yeah, don't question it. Alright, so we're clearly going to go... It's kind of funny, it's going to unlock Bloodbath. But I'm going to get Vindictive Nature here. Yeah, because I don't really care for Lucky Shot. I mean, you could go Lucky Shot. And that theoretically does boost your weapon damage, but I'm going to go more skill damage. And we now have Bloodbath activated, which we can read here. I have the scrolls to have it. It says 2 max HP upon taking damage, up to 150. This bonus expires when you are knocked down. So, it'll just ramp HP on me when I start taking damage. But my HP is being cut in half anyways, so it's not a big deal. And I care more about shield anyway. With this setup. Grab this chest here, see what goodies are behind door number 30 million. I don't know. Enemies marked by Fatal Bloom take 20% damage, and flying swords summoned by Sora's-Out would home in on the marked enemies. Probably going to do this one. This is, again, another pretty decent one-pointer. Don't really care for Ammo Extractor myself. And again, Sword Enthusiast requires another Ascension to stack with it to be pretty decent. This can be very strong, don't get me wrong. But we're going to definitely go No Escape. Just a little solid damage increase. Pretty nice. Something else to note, your swords can proc Fatal Bloom as well, so if you are shooting an enemy, right, and then you throw your swords at them, they will also proc your Fatal Bloom damage. They count as hits as well, so you can do that, just keep that in mind. Obviously, in these types of games, movement speed is very strong because it does count as technically a damage mitigation as well. Being able to move fast lets you dodge a lot of stuff that would normally slaughter your face. This mode can be very hard. It probably looks super easy and whatnot, but like I said, I got super lucky unlocking some of the stuff I did earlier. RNG is RNG. I think the fastest run I've done in a single player run, and I haven't tried like speed running or anything like that, but I think the fastest run I've done was like 32 minutes, 33 minutes, something like that, which is pretty good. Don't know if I'll get that with this one, because I am kind of stopping and explaining things. Hitting enemy marked with Fatal Bloom will deal 100% base weapon damage to up to 2 enemies within 15 meters and mark them with Fatal Bloom. So what this does, Flower Chain essentially makes your Fatal Bloom do like an AoE tether effect and proc and hit other enemies, which is really cool. This glove already does that, so that with this glove is going to be pretty strong. These guys are pretty beefy. And if you really wanted to get crazy, ooh, a new shotgun, I'll take it. It's not smart to stand there and loot when there's enemies around, just FYI. And if you really want to get crazy with this setup, you could Gemini these two and get a lightning weapon with a corrosive weapon and get Miasma Dot going. You get even more damage with the Fatal Bloom and everything. This is pretty good, so anytime I apply Decay, I just take 20% reduced damage and get 40% move speed. But it drops your move speed by 50, but you can become immune. I'm actually going to do it, because I do have movement speed inherently anyway through a scroll. So I've got a ton of damage reduction going on right now, which is insanely good. This build not this build, but this run has been very generous to me. Very generous to me. Pretty tanky boy at this point. I will move a little slower when I apply corrosive, but it makes me tanky. And since we're doing so much damage, it kind of doesn't really affect us. Money for every curse scroll you have, let's take it. That is not good. I'm gonna use a shotgun. Yeah, I was playing a dangerous game using that little beam. Being a crazy man. Alright. I'm gonna definitely kill this guy as quickly as possible. This guy is the problem anytime you have this elite area. I'm gonna get rid of him ASAP. So with the porcupine, you actually can left and right click too. I didn't mention that, but you can whenever there's a big enemy and you're close to him like that, you can spam left right click and it'll do like 2 fires real quick, which is what you're seeing when I do that. Get rid of that globe. Come on, there we go. Perfect. Watch out for the fire. Got it. Paying attention to what enemies have on them, what modifiers they have, is important too. It's like he's fiery, so he'll spawn a fireball every once in a while to come at you and track you and deal damage to you. If it hits you, it does quite a bit of burn damage to you, especially if you're running HP stuff. I do have the reinforced eggshell, because I can see the debuff on it. I guess I didn't see it. Yeah, see that fire just hit me. It can be a bummer. We're gonna go ahead and do this for this guy, because this gets through the shield. Kill the fireball when it procs too, because it has AoE. I don't like any of these. Epic Swordcraft would be the best one to take there, probably. It just makes your swords deal more damage, inherently. Not my favorite set of Ascensions, but... This gun here, Angelic Ori, actually can be really good with this setup as well. It has high fire rate. The only major drawback is low clip magazine size, typically, but we can kind of get around that if we wanted to. That's not a bad gun either. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to Gemini real quick. Another one with 2 projectiles, that's crazy. Alright, I'm going to Gemini real quick. This right here, this Gemini that I just got, it allows you to share the magazine between the 2 weapons, and it also gives you increased fire rate, which is really nice. So let's do that real quick. Let's reforge this until we get that same modifier. We got a lot of money, so we might as well got the Devil's Covenant. Now, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and start upgrading these guns, you know. Like I said, you don't really have to. But now you can see that I have 127 rounds in my shotgun, which is pretty cool. So you can fire your shotgun a lot longer when you have that. Oh, get off me. These puzzles can be pretty annoying. If you've done them a few times, you can do them pretty easily, but when you're new to the game, if you're trying it for the first time, those can be a big pain in the butt. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to go with this. The reason why we're going to go with Skill Booster, I don't typically care about Skill Booster unless it's the enhanced version. But if I hit enemies and they have critical hits, it'll give me these stacks, and I get 1% skill damage per stack. But when you do proc any skill damage or skill ability, it consumes all the stacks, so it's like, yeah, whatever. The enhanced one gives you a chance to just get up to 500 stacks immediately when you crit them, so it makes it really valuable. But what I want this for is the Phantom Blossom. The Phantom Blossom there. I get 60% more Fatal Bloom damage if I can get 2 more scrolls in that category, so that's really nice. Not bad, actually. Yeah, Blade Aura. That's really cool. So let's see what our Blade Aura is going to do here. 5% rate of fire and movement speed for every 1 stack of Blade Heart you have. That is crazy. So, that makes this little gun here, my little rapid fire glove gun, shoot even faster. And more movement speed, which is really nice. So this is the other Ascension I was talking about here. Blade of Bloom. Marking an enemy with Fatal Bloom summons flying swords equal to 100% of your Blade Heart stacks, randomly striking marked enemies. Getting kind of unlucky on the Ascensions, but I'm going to go ahead and go Blade of Bloom, honestly, because I don't really need any of the other ones. This isn't terrible. That's a dual projectile. That can be pretty strong with Fatal Bloom. Sure. Illusion. It's a lightning illusion. Oh dear. Alright. I know I just did what I did with that other gun, but we're going to do this. And we're going to do this. Oh, you know what? I need to share the element, though. I don't have to, but I kind of want to. Let's keep this for now. I don't want to waste all my money yet. Because I got a lightning illusion. But I can switch between these 2 guns and proc the miasma. But essentially, if I share the elemental type between the 2, this gun will do lightning and corrosive. Which is really cool. Get the miasma going, be crazy. Demon Lore. Demon Lore is just OP, so I typically try to avoid it when I play the game. Because it's just like easy cheese mode typically. Yeah, this is disgusting. Illusion is a really good shotgun. Fan favorite. And with that rate of fire and everything, it's just nutty. Movement speed. Illusion likes to ramp up in attack speed and projectiles too as you're firing with it, which is really cool. Yeah, that was just like silly mode. Come on, give me some Fatal Bloom damage. I'll go more Warlike Blade. Sure. Don't really necessarily need it, but we'll take it. The Rainbow can be pretty good with Fatal Bloom as well. The same thing, it's an auto-lock gun, and you just get a lot of bloom procs, which is really good. And here we are again. Damage is converted to corrosive damage, and -% corrosion damage taken. I think I'm going to take this because it makes me immune to corrosive stuff, and I'm not really worried about what they get from it. Ooh, another curse scroll. Yeah. There we go. Got the Misfortune Aura. I get more weapon skill damage. And I am immune to the negative effects. Let's see. Rate of fire while using swords out. I mean, overconsumption is probably the best thing to take. Probably. Because it is more weapon and skill damage. It gets reduced a bit from some stuff that I have, but I'm going to go overconsumption, I think. Could go crazy fire rate with that other one. Yep, we're doing some work. Really doesn't affect me either way. Also, when you're going through rooms, it is good to try to pay attention to the side room, like the modifiers in the room that you're in. Because they can really mess you over if you don't pay attention to them, so I would keep that in mind as well. Away from that fireball, don't touch me. Now, do I want to give up my rate of fire for splicing damage? We could. Let's do it, just to show like a different example of how you could play this. There we go. Pump it up, why not? Alright, so now we're not sharing the magazine size and rate of fire, but we are sharing the chance to proc the lightning and the corrosive. So if you look on the weapon here, it says lightning damage, 5% chance of dealing shock. That's per projectile, and it will actually do the same thing with decay now. So I have a 5% chance per projectile to proc lightning or decay on the enemy when I shoot them. And you can start stacking miasma, which is pretty darn strong. It did get nerfed at one point, but it was silly OP, so it probably needed to be, honestly. It's still really good, though. Like, it was so strong that you could have, like, the crappiest guns in the game, but as long as you did corrosive and shock together, which proc the miasma dot, you could, like, shred down entire groups of enemies with, like, the most basic, terrible guns. Because it does a dot on the enemy. It used to be insanely good. Still good, though. Come on, give me some blossom damage. The game is being really hateful right now. Alright. There is an ascension that just straight up increases your fatal bloom damage by 100%. I haven't done it once yet. That's the only unlucky part so far, but I've gotten some really good stuff. I mean, I can't complain. It's kind of how the game goes. So even though I'm not sharing the magazine size and rate of fire, I still get the chance to not consume ammo before like Blade, so it essentially didn't affect me too horribly. And I'm getting miasma dot. So it's still really, really good. If it wasn't for that Fisher Bear Paw, I wouldn't be doing as well as I am right now, honestly, though. Genesis is pretty good too. There's a chance to not consume ammo when shooting. This is immunity to slows and minus 50% damage taken from traps. Definitely gonna go Genesis, I think. Some more chance to not consume ammo. See if we get anything good. Yeah, why not? Elemental Enthusiast. So, applying shock to enemies, also apply shock to yourself. Increases damage I take by 10%, but I deal 75% more lightning damage, so my shotgun will deal more damage. It's not terrible, and I got decent damage reduction, so I think I'm good at it. Yeah, just try to burn them down before they get to you. Yeah, that would have been really hard if I hadn't had some decent stuff going. this game probably looks super easy. Like, this build's OP. Game's easy. Nah, the build is... I mean, I've gotten some crazy stuff, like I said. Let's go ahead and go Curse Mark 3. Get it off the loot pool. More damage reduction. It's not bad. So when you have this happen, all you have to do is drop the Paranormality. I'll show you real quick. Because your HP's at 1, right? So you can't interact with this. Then when you do that, you can take any of these options here. I think I'm going to go with the normal scroll. Not terrible. Lucky shot when they're under elemental effects. That's good. So we don't need enhanced evil banishing talisman, honestly. We already got the regular one. This just gives us money when we break stuff. Not terrible. We do have Devil's Covenant, so we're gaining more copper from all the copper we pick up. So not a bad little combo. Good for generating cash flow. I guess we'll pump the shotgun up. Do something with the money. Like I said, you don't even have to do that, but since we aren't getting a lot of Fatal Bloom damage increase so far, I'll go ahead and supplement weapon damage to kind of support it as well to build it into. Hand out 3 occult scrolls, obtain a random enhanced occult scroll. Hand over an enhanced occult scroll, obtain a random enhanced occult scroll. Yeah, so you can just trade one for another. Yeah, I think I will, and I'm going to just toss that, because I mean, I don't have to have that. Okay. Don't really need that either, but that's fine. Fire Enthusiast, it just gives you, I believe you take a burn dot when you damage enemies with fire, but you also vamp life. 2% damage dealt is life. This is probably a little crazy for me to be this close. Probably not smart entirely, but I'm trying to burn them all down before they get too amped up and start proccing lots of stuff. Plus, I'm trying to hit them with as many projectiles as possible. From the shotgun. But yeah, you gotta be careful. When they go up in the air like that, and start spawning the lightning balls and stuff, yeah, they can mess you up. Okay, and Porcupine. Also a great gun for this. Money, money, money. I suppose that's what we're going with. One day. Dual edge. Okay. Dual edge will help. I probably should have taken that scalpel. That scalpel was disgusting. I know I'm kind of like zooming through this, but I can see what they do and just kind of gotten used to, I've gotten used to the stats and like what they do and kind of skim over real quick. Anyway, we're going to go Luminous Heart here because that is 8% more weapon and skill damage because we do have the, yeah, we have the Swordsman, so that's another stack. So that will give us a little bit more weapon and skill damage. Was there a vault? Did I? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Gotta look around and make sure you get all your stuff. I was like, I can't track that guy, what am I doing? What's wrong with me? Alright. Not bad. This is good. Good and Evil would give me Wicked Power. I mean, this will straight up just give me more damage in general. With the dual edge, I'd be nutty. This would give me more immediate damage, and I would complete Wicked Power and get more shield, but I think I'm going to go Extravagant Consumption. Because I really don't need the money that I have. So you can see my gold went down to 500. It'll consume all your extra gold that you have down to 500, but then you get a stack of Extravagant Consumption. So if you like look at it here, it's giving me 79% more damage, just period. And it'll do that every time you like rotate to a new level. Would have been better earlier, but now it's better than never. For every elite or boss you kill, you get 10% more damage. I should have looked at that illusion probably, but that's okay. Let's do this. So if and when I do get extra fatal bloom damage, it's gonna be pretty crazy. Let's use the this part. Got that quick trigger activated too, which is nice. Lots of fire rate. You can shoot those fireballs out of the air, by the way, so they don't detonate on you and tear you up. That hurt. Gotta be careful here. There we go. Yeah, 75% more. And this will give me my wicked power, weapon, and skill damage, and I lose HP. But as you can see, that doesn't matter. Oh, come on, game. I'm getting everything except for the one thing that I want, unfortunately. Yep. Spirit Bible. I mean, I guess it just would be an overall damage increase. I just don't know how that damage reduction applies to the enemies. Is it like 40% total overall skill damage reduction, or just 40% from the Spirit Bibles? I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. Enemy effect. Minus 30% damage dealing to the player with more than 80% of total. I don't know what that entirely means, but we'll grab it. Got more curse scrolls, because why not? Let's see. Skill trick, sword mastering. Well, I'm going to keep what I have. Let's grab this real quick. Luxurious gift box. Yeah, let's go with that. Alright. If you do hear the background noise of my AC, I do apologize. I'm working on trying to set up like a little studio where I can record and get rid of the background noise a little better and stuff. Just throwing it out there. Is that a vault? Yeah, it was. Yeah, so with Bunny, you go around just smacking the hell out of things, as you can see. It's pretty silly to get the right stuff. Are so good. Are so good, big game. This little bugger. You're alright there, little fella. You're alright. Corrosive beam of death. Alright, yeah, let's do this. You think I would have learned the lesson earlier with it. I just kind of like the AoE of the glove. It's a fun little weapon to use, honestly. It's a lot of fun to play with. Okay, he's dead. We're good. Come on. Alright. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So this last area that I'm in right now, it can be pretty terrifying here, honestly. Man, still no luck. Alright. We're going to do an entire run without getting the Blossom damage increase. Which is like the backbone of this build, by the way. That's like the one ascension you want. And I haven't seen it. Not a single damn time yet. That's okay, though. Kind of gives you an idea of how good this build is. Like, essentially, you can just murder things. And that ascension just makes it even easier. Did I hear vault? Was that a vault? Oh yeah, it's up there. Okay. It's not my vault. Get it? Yeah, lame dad joke. Alright. Moving on here. What should we call? Like, what should I call this? What should we call it? Should we call it like the microwave beam of death, or because I'd use the shotgun too. Shoddy, shoddy, boom, boom. I gotta think of a cool like clickbaity title and like thumbnail, you know. Like a super good one. Well, this changes a lot of things for me. We're gonna do this. So this gives you 3 more projectiles on this shotgun here. Yeah, this easily replaces the one I was using. Armor breaker activated. Excellent. That's what I want to hear. I don't really care for Strive to Survive. And I don't care for Dormant Bullet all that much. Because we're really never going to proc that or use it, so... Yeah, that one's pretty useless too. Okay, so now we just need to find... Ooh, this is gross. Yeah. Now the question is, do we give up? Yeah, we do. We give up the Corrosion, Miasma, hybrid mix. So this solidifies it for us. This is going to be the Shoddy Go Boom Boom build. Or Shoddy Shoddy Boom Boom. Because this shotgun just made this a lot more insane for me. It already has crazy high fire rate. And it rolled the Gemini that gives it more fire rate for shared magazine. And that's what we're going to do. As soon as I find a craftsman dude. If I get lucky, I guess. Really, any gun that I can find that has that Gemini would be fantastic for me. Get off of me. Thank you. Gotta be careful. They do have some lightning damage on them, so don't want to lose our shields. I want to try and prevent that as much as possible. These guys are a nightmare, by the way. Those dudes are riding on those giant baboon monkey things. Man, they're disgusting in a lot of situations when you're trying to do one of these solo runs. Okay. Yeah, you ain't running for me, dog. Here you go. Which one are you? Where's the real one? You are not the father. One of these is the father. There it is. Okay. Let's see if I gotta pay attention to the Gemini, though. Because I don't really care about the weapon secondary. Well, I guess we're going more like Blade 3, I guess? Yeah. Deadly counter. So deadly counter, this is what I was talking about earlier. If you get that scroll that makes you burn and deals dot damage to you while you're dealing fire damage, it'll continuously proc deadly counter and make you constantly crit. It's pretty nice. That was definitely one, and I just broke it down like a nerd. Alright, let's see if I get another one. Come on. Come on. There it is. There it is, right? Yeah. Yeah. So now we have shared magazine and crazy fire rate. Alright. With the increased projectiles on the shotgun. Look at this craziness. Look at this. With the increased projectiles with the fish or bear paw, they're proccing twice. And then we have the armor breaker buff as well. 20% projectile on current weapon, so 20% projectile increase, which gives you more on your shotgun. For every 30 weapon damage caused, deal true damage that is equivalent to 15% of its current HP. Up to team member 5,000 damage. Oh yeah, it's like that's like a multiplayer thing they added. But anyway, You do a percentage of their health as damage as well with armor breaker. You can get more projectiles. More Fatal Bloom procs. So if I had the Fatal Bloom maxed right now, the one Ascension I haven't got, it at max rank 3, it reduces how many hits you need to proc Fatal Bloom by like 2, I think it is. So it's makes it way more disgusting. I don't really need Against the Flow. Meh. 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 It's not terrible. But we want to get something crazy. Like, we want something off the chain. That's not great. Gets doubled. There's a 50 chance. That could have been good. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do the skill damage. Let's take the skill damage. That's fine. Everything. I think that's everything. Alright. So we're at 40 minutes here. And that's with me kind of like, you know, goofing off. Having some fun. Hope that's acceptable. Could do this. Run with Corrosion. Get the Corrosion and then... you know, I still get the miasma going, which is cool. Alright, let's do it. Let's fight this boss. So, 269 stacks on the dual edge, 178 on the consumption. We have 8 elite kills, so we're at 80% more damage from that. 85 skill damage from this. Got some skill damage and stuff from overconsumption. Evil Devouring Sword has given me 75% weapon and 100% increased skill damage. So overall, like a really solid build. Getting that extra Fatal Bloom damage would have been fantastic. Just did not happen. That's okay though, because all this bonus damage I got really helped out. Look at the fire rate on this gun. 727 on the shotgun. Oh my. That's a little crazy. I should have taken the blades out maybe. Oh wow, that was nutty. I kind of forgot that I just, like, hella boosted the fire rate there. That was, pretty crazy. Well, well, well. Well, there you have it, guys. That's the bunny. She's a lot of fun. I highly recommend giving her a try. This game gets updated constantly, honestly. They do a lot of content for it. And it's not always paid DLC content, either. And I'm all for supporting the indie developers, like I said. It's a great game. If you guys haven't tried it, I recommend it. It's very, very good. And, I don't know. Maybe I'll link my Discord and all that stuff again, and if anybody's around, we can hang out and play. But, yeah, hopefully you liked the video. As always, if you could, simply just subscribe, like the video. It would mean a lot to me. I need to grow this community. Like, this is something I've always enjoyed. Just gaming and helping people figure out how to do builds in games and, you know, all that good stuff. So, anyway, if you did like the content, you know how to do all the things, and I hope to see you all next time. Thanks for watching, and everybody take care.